I love to attend Socratic debates and discussion groups like in Amsterdam and Barcelona, and it's a lot of fun to discuss philosophical queries. But sometimes I realize that discussions are not really about philosophy, they're about how we feel. And when it comes to the question of free will, we can interpret the discussion of free will in two ways. We can first get focused on whether free will exists or not, and whether human behavior is deterministic or not. But we can also go one step deeper, and here we can ask ourselves, to which degree does a person feel that they have free will? And to which degree do they feel that their behavior is constrained or forced or, in a way, deterministic? And there's been a lot of psychologists that have discussed this topic, and what they talk about is what we can call self-determination theory. To which extent does a person feel that they determine their own fate and the outcome of their lives are in their hands? And to which extent do we feel that we have no control over where we end up or what we do? There's a lot of reservations to the idea of self-determination, and I think if you feel a low sense of self-control, it's very tempting to want to believe in a deterministic universe. If you feel like you have no influence over your life, it's very easy to say, well, nobody does. Actually, nobody has any control over anything that happens to them, and we are all automaton slaves that just act on basic impulses, and we don't even realize it, right? And here, what we are doing is really a trivialization of the discussion of free will. And what's very important to notice is the more badly we feel, the more inclined we are to make kind of black and white statements like either we have free will or we don't, when in reality, free will might be a range, and some people might experience a stronger sense of free will than other people. Essentially, yes, if you are basing all your decisions on what other people want, or based on fear, or based on anxiety, or based on basic impulses, it makes sense that you feel a low sense of free will. But if you, on the other hand, have experienced the liberation from anxiety or fear and have managed to build a core identity that you feel secure in, and that you feel to some degree self-actualized, then all of a sudden, you experience this experience of wonder and freedom where you feel, I can make my own destiny, and I have made my own destiny, and I have made my own choices, and I made choices that I'm happy with. And that's ultimately what we're also looking for. We have to, when talking about self-determination theory, understand that self-determination, or rather the lack of self-determination, comes from often a strong sense of guilt. When we feel we have made bad choices in our lives, we are increasingly tempted to want to believe that we lack free will. Similarly, the Nazis or people in Soviet or in a cult will want to justify the fact that they made wrong choices, that they made bad decisions, because they had no free will. And they'll want to say it was because my superior told me to, because somebody told me to, and I didn't have any say in the matter, and I just did it because they told me to, right? So often when you're trying to unravel a person that struggles with a low sense of free will, what do? Well, you help them confront that feeling of shame and guilt. You don't really focus on their feeling of lack of free will in the first place. You help them understand and recognize how they have acted in past situations and how they would act differently today. What are things that they did that they are not proud of, and how would they go into those situations today if they could change or choose to do something different? Here, what you're really teaching people is to first self-monitor, to be aware of the things that they do and the decisions that they make. But secondly, what you're trying to do is you're trying to give them a sense of adulthood, a sense that you are an adult and you are being held accountable for the things that you've done. And here, what are you going to do about that? How are you going to feel about that? And how are you going to move forward? Self-determination is really the peak of human development. It's when we are acting from a position of a clear conscience. Here, even though we might have made bad decisions in the past, we feel that now we are making amends. We're doing the right thing. We're living in the way that we are supposed to live. We're doing something that's important. We're doing something that we feel is purposeful, something that we feel matters. And we choose to hold ourselves accountable for what we do to get there. And the first step is acting on intrinsic motivation instead of external motivation. Instead of looking for a teacher or an adult or a parent or manager to tell you what to do, you want to start every day thinking about what you think is the best thing to do, what you think would make the biggest impact. And you want to take the initiative here to really make that happen. That's self-determination. Thank you so much for watching, and see you all in the next video.